We had candidates, we invited candidates from District 43, Sunset Park, Benson, Hurstboro Park, and Grade 10. District 43 is a newly redrawn district that has no incumbent council member at this time. We invited Susan Zhuang. She's a Democratic candidate, but she declined our request to participate in the debate. We invited Ying Tan, who is the Republican nominee, and she declined our request to participate in this forum. But we do have Vito LaBella, who is running on the conservative line, and Mr. LaBella is born and raised in Bay and served as an NYPD police officer, an NYPD lieutenant, of course, and was a 9/11 first responder. So, Mr. LaBella, please come and complete remarks.
So, in a few minutes, let me apologize. Thank you. I'll leave a few minutes and let's get right to this. We need to discuss why I'm the only one standing here tonight, why none of the other Dems are here. And well, that's because, let's be honest, they think they have this in the bag, right? They do. They think that they only hurt themselves by debating, and that's not fair to you, the voter, and to the taxpayer. Right? So straight up, Susan, she doesn't want to answer why she said during COVID-19 that she was in Brooklyn handing out PPE, when in reality, she was in Virginia helping out. Hey, nothing wrong with that. I was isolating in Massachusetts with my 90-year-old mom, and guess what? I still fulfilled all my volunteer responsibilities as a community education council member, as a school leadership team at Brooklyn Tech, and as PTA president over at 187, right? Maybe Susan doesn't want to answer why she said that, well, I really have GOP values, but because Bill Colton is a Democrat and he's sponsoring me, it really makes it hard for me to run as a Republican. Well, guess what? Let's some inside baseball here. The Democrats, the other Democrats, they don't like Bill Colton and they don't like Susan because they're too conservative. So guess what? Have some heart, have some soul. If you believe that conservative solutions to the problems in our community are the right thing, and we know they are, then do what Harry Kagan did, switch sides and come on over. We'd love to have you, honestly. And Bill and Susan are good people. I worked with them. I did some advocacy with them on migrants, on schools, on other things. So listen, they would be more than welcome in the Republican Party. I'm sorry, we're getting some feedback. As for Ying, why isn't she here? Well, she and the individuals who she's with in her team, they lied, they cheated, and they engaged in some questionable financial expenditures. I mean, if you lived in 43, you're in the primary, and you're a Republican, you got all these negative mailers featuring me, I know, and they were full of lies, misrepresentations, and mischaracterizations. Okay? And also, she claims that in 2018, she was an advocate for G&T. Well, G&T wasn't an issue in schools until 2020, 2021. There was an issue in 2018. It was a specialized high school admission exam, and there were lots of rallies and lots of protests. And I know because I was one of the organizers. I was at most of these rallies, and I don't remember seeing her. Okay, there's no social media or photos of her from 2018 at any of these rallies. And in fact, she says she's a community activist, but there's no record of her doing anything before her campaign this year. And as far as other ways she lied, she cheated, well, she and her team submitted 1,013 bad signatures to get on a third-party line, the parent party. And the people who got those signatures are intimately involved in the campaign and are getting money. So they have a financial interest for her to stay on the ballot if she didn't win the primary Republican. And that person signed a penalty of perjury that those signatures were valid, when in fact they were not. they're enriching themselves now, what will they do if they get elected? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. LaBella, you have stated that if elected, you will work to maintain what you call education standards currently under attack throughout the city. You also voiced your support to expand the gifted and talented programs and provide parents with the choice of better charter schools while trying to ensure that special needs children get the education they need. Please explain your stand on this issue and how your position differs from your opponents.
Okay, so it's really easy to say that you're for this or you're for that, and I think the positions are comparable. So if the positions are comparable, what do we look at? Well, we look at knowledge, experience, and temperament. I retired from the NYPD in 2017, and I didn't intend to get involved in activism. What happened was people in the education community who I was helping needed help, because these things were under attack by the previous administration. And so I got further and further down the rabbit hole, running for the Community Education Council, running for state senate last year in the 17th district, which is pretty much this whole area, the 43rd. And I can bore you to death with the minutia of what's going on in the public schools. I can talk about fair student funding and how people get extra money for migrants or for multi-language learners or for kids in poverty or for kids in temporary housing and where this money goes and what can we do. But I don't want to put you all to sleep. I don't want to see your eyes rolling in the back of your head. And I also have institutional knowledge of the New York City Police Department because I did 32 years in the police department. So the thing is that when I'm standing in Tweed Building and they try to do a tap dance, I can call them out. And I will call them out because I've been doing it for the past 6 years. I have the knowledge, the temperament, the experience to represent District 43 and South Brooklyn on this issue and frankly on all the other issues as well.
Thank you. And as you just gave me, as a former NYPD officer, having spent 32 years on the force, you have made law and order a pivotal part of your campaign platform. You have said that you are tired of career politicians and extremist organizations destroying our city. With people walking into our local mom and pop stores and chains like Rite Aid and Walgreens and clearing out the shelves, and just with no ramifications or repercussions, as a retired NYPD officer, what would you do different to help make the streets of Brooklyn safer?
Well, you have to call it out, right? So we know our NYPD captains, our COs, they're on the hot seat every day. They come and they talk about how crime is up or crime is down, and they're talking about index crimes. Again, institutional knowledge. Right now, the things that are making the community feel unsafe are not the index crimes, but they're the quality of life crimes. They're smoking marijuana, walking down the street. They're, like you said, the pen larceny with impunity. They're the homeless individuals who are on the streets and in the subways and are not getting help. We need to reform, we need to repeal all of the anti-police, pro-criminal policies that the previous city council enacted. We have to For example, peddler enforcement needs to go back to the police. Homeless outreach needs to go back to the police. Let the police handle it. You know, when you try to change human behavior, you need the carrot and the stick. You know, we have people that are living in boxes and they're there day after day after day. They're not going to get help unless they get some tough love. You gotta say, you gotta go to a shelter. You can't stay here, you can't live here on the sidewalk, you have to go to a shelter. You give them every opportunity, you take them to a hospital, you get them evaluated, and when they come back, you have to say, listen, you're violating a statute. You can't have a cardboard box here. You can't defecate on the street. You can't defecate. So if you continue this behavior, you're going to get arrested, and you have to follow through. Everybody needs tough love when they're talking about students, fellow citizens, or everybody else's behavior you're trying to change.
Thank you. A quick question. What is it about the Conservative Party line that appealed to you that you would run
position has been consistent for the last 2 years. And the Conservative Party gave me an opportunity to spread the message and to compete in this arena. I promised the Conservative Party that I will voice their concerns. Specifically, I agree with Nikki Haley on the abortion issue, for example. She said, we're talking about 6 weeks, we're talking about 12, we're talking about 15, we're fighting on this end. What we should really be saying, most people of good faith, most people with common sense know that we should never be aborting healthy, viable babies in utero. Should never ever happen. And I will voice that concern. It's a big concern for the Conservative Party, and I promised them that I would give it voice, and I start to voice it here, and I'll continue to voice it going forward. My word.
Thank you. You've been an outspoken advocate for small businesses, small business owners who have been struggling post-pandemic. How can we help save these struggling businesses? I know this question goes up, but I think it's a very important one. It's really basically wearing out the fabric for our community. How can we help these struggling businesses that are being forced to close from lack of workers and paying high rents?
Well, look, David Carr, when he hit all the high points. We got to reduce business regulation. We have to really incentivize owner-occupied buildings, whether it's our rental buildings or it's our business owners that own a building and are trying to run a business. We have to give them tax incentives. We have to reduce regulation, and we have to give them support any way we can, including if you're a retail establishment, not allowing people to come in and strip the shelves like locusts and get away with impunity.
Thank you. Your closing remarks?
No, thank you. So listen, thank you for coming tonight. I do want to thank Friend and Dyker Civic Association, John Alexander for hosting. Thank you so much for the round of applause I deserve. Going forward in the future, I believe that if a candidate wants to receive matching funds, they should be required to do one debate in the primary if they haven't voted, and at least one debate in the general. You, the voters, you deserve it. The taxpayers are paying for it. We got to make this happen in the next round. My wife Kim is handing out some swag. She's got a Vito bag, and
It's not that impressive, really.
it's not that impressive.
It's better than 10 cents at the grocery store.
That's right. We'll save you some money at the grocery store. But listen, inside that bag is this cool QR code. If you scan it on your phone and put your email address in, what you'll find is you'll pop up a video where you can ask me a video question. You don't want to ask a video question, you can text me a question, anything you want to know that John didn't get to, and I will get it to you. It's a really cool app. It'll also direct you to my website, my social media. I urge you, look at my social media. I believe in integrity, transparency, and accountability. I never scrub my social media, and I never will. You go back to 2008, and if I had a different point of view in 2012 or 2020, that's because I learned. I learned from talking to people in the community, because that's what a person should do. Talk to people, find out what's best, find out what's working, and make adjustments. So shout out to Kimberly Gray for Instinct for designing this product. What's my time? I got plenty of stuff to say.
You got a minute?
I got a minute. Oh, I got a minute.
Minute 30 seconds.
You can have a minute now. Go ahead. Go right ahead.
So listen, when I started my community and education advocacy 6 years ago, I began down a road where I met some incredible people that stepped away from their comfortable lives, from accomplished careers in the private sector, to take up volunteerism, to take up activism, because they weren't happy what was happening in New York City. So, I tell people that no matter what happens in November, I'm still going to be around afterward. And I can make that promise because I am proud to announce that my audio and video podcast, Vito LaBella, Fighting for New York, debuted Thursday night, October 12th, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. I urge you to find it, and the first 2 episodes is me talking about policing. After that, I will be discussing with some of these great fellow activists who are getting involved. We're going to discuss the issues that impact New Yorkers and the things we want to do to change what's going on in this city, to bring New York back. Just a few years ago, 10 years ago, when New York City was more business friendly, was safer, was cleaner, and was better run. So thank you. I will. Thank you. Early voting, October 25th, November 5th, Election Day, November 7th. Please get out and vote. This is a super low turnout year. Send the message. South Brooklyn will not be ignored. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.